Hello everyone. I wanted to just offer you a few tips and things to remember for this week's assignment and for your midterm review. First of all, I would like to point out that I am making regular announcements in the announcements page on Canvas for this course. If you have any questions about those announcements, please make sure you email me to let me know, and I will be happy to clarify. I also want to remind you of the expectation that you email me to acknowledge that you have read and understand all of the announcements for this course. Some general tips for success for this course. First of all, it would be helpful if you finished your assignments 2 to 3 days before they are due, which will allow you to take a break from them for a day and then return to them after that break to proofread them. You're more likely to catch errors this way. You could also have someone that is very good at seeing details or proofreading to proofread your paper, but please do not have that be someone in this class. You could also utilize the services that the university provides for general proofreading and APA questions. If anybody has any questions about those resources, let me know and I will do my best to point you in the right direction. I would also suggest that you print out the item descriptions and the rubrics for all of your assignments. That'll allow you the opportunity to highlight the key points in both the descriptions and the rubrics to make sure you address all areas and nothing is left out. And then lastly, grading yourself using the rubric and the description of the assignment. So put on your teacher hat for a minute and grade yourself. Oftentimes that also helps you to find errors. So for week 4, you have your Module 3 case study due, and you also need to be reviewing for your midterm exam. Please be sure, guys, that you're utilizing the self-assessments that are in these modules. They will help you to learn the information and be sure that you have a solid grasp on an understanding of the material. So your midterm exam review, there is an announcement that was posted for this course that included a Microsoft Word document, which will give you the areas that you need to concentrate on for each module. One thing I want to point out before I discuss the exam review is that the midterm exam will be available beginning July 23rd at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time and will end on July 25th at midnight or at 11:59 p.m. Please be sure that you plan ahead well enough that you are able to complete the exam before that time. As far as the exam review, please refer to the Microsoft Word document that is in the announcements. I have also listed the different areas that you need to study from each module in this PowerPoint slide, so you can use either resource to ensure that you have the appropriate information to study. As you see, here's the list of the things you need to know from Module 1, the origins of mental health and occupational therapy, moral treatment philosophy, ADA's effect on mental health and OT, define and explain mental health and mental illness, and know the dynamic interaction of occupational performance. Here are the various things that you would need to know for Module 2. Understanding positive and negative symptoms for schizophrenia, knowing the criteria and symptomology for schizophrenia, knowing and understanding the list of these terms, familiar with PTSD, distinguish different types of defense mechanisms, prognosis of personality disorder, the criteria and symptomology for borderline personality disorder, a dominant symptom of bipolar disorder 1 versus bipolar disorder 2, the criteria and symptomology of a diagnosis of different types of personality disorders, distinguishing between the different types of anxiety and phobias, the terms used for anxiety disorders, and the A's of schizophrenia. And for Module 3, you need to be aware of the definition of substance abuse and chemical dependency, what's most frequently used for treatment of adjustment disorder, knowing and distinguishing the criteria and symptomology for a diagnosis of bulimia and anorexia, information about the intellectual disabilities being more likely to have a diagnosis of mental illness. Is that true or is that not? Understanding stressors and their relation to adjustment disorders, and identifying and giving examples of occupations that are impacted by substance use disorders. And lastly, I want to review with you your Module 3 case study and the expectations for that assignment. So first of all, that assignment is due on July 18th at 11:59 p.m. So some helpful hints to obtain the top grade. Number one, make sure you're reading the case study thoroughly. This may be an example of where you want to print the case study and highlight or underline the most important information to be sure you include it. I would also like to see you guys utilize your Bonder text in your lectures, as well as any other relevant resources that you feel are necessary to complete the case study questions. Make sure you're using in-text citations and references, as those are required for a top grade. Please answer all questions thoroughly. For example, question number 1, your answer may involve more than just one of the 8 areas of occupation. For number 2, I would really like for you to take some time and reflect on your answer. And for number 3, when you do the summary for question number 3, please be sure that you are including that on your reference list. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me via email. I will be happy to help in any way that I can.